What if I told you there's a massive project on the horizon that could disrupt global trade, challenge one of the world's most strategic waterways, and completely shift the power balance in the Middle East? Presenting you a $55 billion Israeli canal that rivals the Suen Canal itself. In today's video, we're diving deep into this bold project, uncovering how Israel's new canal could reshape the future of international shipping and global politics. Before we start, please make sure to support our channel by clicking the like button and following us so you won't miss any updates on the latest mega projects. What do you think are the unsung heroes of global trade? They're the canals that allow ships to bypass dangerous, lengthy routes, saving time, fuel, and resources. Without them, we'd still be waiting weeks or even months for goods to travel halfway around the world. Let me give you an example of a canal transforming an entire region. If we talk about the Panama Canal alone, it literally transformed the entire trade in the US in 1914. It actually allowed the ships to cross between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans without the dangerous journey around South America's Cape Horn. This one shortcut reshaped shipping routes and supercharged the economies connected to it. However, if there's one canal that truly stands out, is the Suez Canal. Now, this canal was opened way back in 1869, which connected the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, creating a direct route between Europe and Asia. Before its construction, ships had to sail all the way around Africa, adding thousands of miles to their journey and costing a fortune in time and money. To date, the Suez Canal remains one of the busiest and most important canals on the planet. Let me give you a rough idea of its significance. It handles almost 12% of the world's trade. That's billions of dollars worth of goods flowing through each year, generating massive revenue for Egypt. It's not just a vital artery for global commerce, though. The canal's strategic location means whoever controls it also holds incredible geopolitical power, influencing both global trade routes and military movements. Believe it or not, the idea of creating alternative routes like the Suez Canal isn't something that Israel started cooking up recently. It's actually been going on for over a century. During the 19th century, Britain was already planning to bypass the Suez Canal, which was already a successful shipping route between Europe and Asia. Even during that time, global powers were highly aware of how valuable the Suez Canal was, not just in terms of trade, but also in terms of military strategy. The Suez Canal was like a golden gate. Whoever held the keys held the power. If we talk about one of the earliest proposals, it came from a British naval officer named William Allen, who was also an explorer. This happened in the 1850s, when William was obsessed with finding a way to carve a new canal that could compete against the Suez. But what exactly was his plan? A canal stretching from Haifa Bay, in what is now modern-day Israel, all the way to the Dead Sea, with the intention of connecting it to the Red Sea. Imagine it. A brand new waterway cutting right through the heart of the Middle East. But while William's plan was brilliant, it never really took off. There were countless hurdles that made it impossible for William to actually carry out his plan. You see, at that time, the technology to pull it off was not present, and as you can imagine, convincing nations to get on board with such a radical idea wasn't exactly easy either. But Allen's ambitious vision did set the stage for future proposals. The seed had been planted, and the idea of a rival canal would resurface again and again. Now, people wanted to create an alternative to the Suez Canal for a number of reasons. 3 of them being control, military strategy, and economic independence. The Suez Canal was a vital trade artery, and global powers like Britain didn't want to be at Egypt's mercy. Any conflict or political issue could disrupt trade, forcing ships into long detours. Militarily, the canal was crucial for moving naval forces between the Mediterranean and Indian Ocean, so an alternative route offered strategic security. Economically, relying on the Suez meant paying tolls and adhering to Egypt's rules. A new canal would grant countries control over their trade and financial independence. Fast forward to the modern era, a new proposal has emerged: the Israeli Canal. This ambitious project aims to connect the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. positioning itself as a direct competitor to the Suez Canal. Just imagine the transformative impact this could have on global trade routes and economic dynamics. With the Suez Canal already a critical artery for international shipping, the introduction of the Israeli Canal would challenge its dominance, potentially reshaping how goods move between continents. Stretching nearly 50 kilometers longer than the Suez Canal, the Israeli Canal promises to be an engineering marvel. With a proposed width of 200 meters, this canal could handle even larger ships than the Suez. Now, let's talk about the staggering price tag. Estimates suggest that constructing the Israeli Canal would cost around $55 billion. One of the biggest challenges the Israeli Canal project faces is the rugged terrain between the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, which could drive costs even higher than the projected $55 billion. The project requires large-scale excavation that goes beyond anything we've done before, testing the limits of our current machinery and techniques. The project will need advanced machines and technology for digging, surveying, and building. Creating or getting these tools can be expensive and take a lot of resources. Other than that, gaining support from neighboring countries and stakeholders may require diplomatic efforts that involve financial and human resources, making the project even more costly. Also, local opposition or protests regarding environmental concerns or land use could lead to delays, which in turn increase costs through extended project timelines. Additionally, building ancillary infrastructure, such as roads, ports, and facilities for workers, adds to the overall financial burden of the project. Other than being financially taxing, this project is also technologically challenging. For example, figuring out the best route that avoids difficult terrain and reduces harm to the environment is a major engineering challenge. Engineers may need to use advanced modeling and simulations to find workable solutions. The project also requires large-scale excavation that has never been done before, which will push the limits of current machinery and techniques. If new technologies need to be created or adapted for this unique environment, significant investment in research and development will be necessary. Additionally, using sustainable construction methods to reduce environmental impact adds to the project's complexity. Engineers will need to find ways to make progress while also protecting the ecosystem. The project needs to follow many local and international rules about construction and environmental impact, which requires legal and regulatory knowledge and adds to its complexity. This would involve collaboration with various countries or groups, which can be difficult, particularly in coordinating resources and efforts. The Israeli Canal project is undoubtedly an ambitious undertaking. Its success will depend on how well it can tackle the considerable challenges we've discussed. If the project manages to secure the necessary funding, gain political support, and implement innovative technological solutions, it could significantly reshape trade dynamics in the region. However, the stakes are very high. The estimated costs are enormous, and we can't ignore the technological challenges. There's also the risk of environmental and political backlash that could make things even more complicated. If the stakeholders can successfully address these issues, then success is possible. But let's face it, there are significant risks, and the road to success will be filled with obstacles. Even if the project encounters challenges or delays, just having the idea could lead to ongoing discussions about alternative trade routes. This keeps the concept alive and might encourage future exploration of different solutions. Ultimately, the success of the Israeli Canal depends on the teamwork of engineers, governments, and all involved stakeholders. Now, there's only one thing that will decide if this vision becomes a reality or a distant dream: their dedication. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, turn on the notifications so that you don't miss out on more mega projects.